In the late 1980s, after the Soviet-Afghan War, a new militant network began forming under Osama bin Laden. This network, later known as Al-Qaeda, built training camps, safe houses, and financial routes across Afghanistan and Sudan. Throughout the 1990s, it quietly spread its influence, preparing for attacks that the world could not yet imagine. Before we start the video, I would say all information presented here is publicly available and verified. I am not adding anything extra. Before 2001, Al-Qaeda was already responsible for several attacks targeting U.S. interests. These events shaped the intelligence picture. The 1993 World Trade Center bombing, the 1998 U.S. embassy bombings in Africa, and the USS Cole attack in 2000. These incidents proved that Al-Qaeda was more organized and dangerous than previously believed. I add the link of PDF of the official FBI summary of the 1993 World Trade Center bombing. It publicly explains how investigators connected the attack to extremist networks. In 1996 and again in 1998, Osama bin Laden publicly declared war against the United States. These declarations were printed, broadcast, and widely circulated. They were not secret. They clearly stated the intentions of Al-Qaeda. I add the link of PDF, which shows the 1998 declaration issued by Osama bin Laden. The U.S. intelligence community later cited this document as a clear warning. In January 2000, several Al-Qaeda members met in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. This meeting would later become one of the earliest indicators of the 9/11 plot. Two future hijackers, already on the radar of some intelligence units, attended this gathering. Throughout 2000 and early 2001, several Al-Qaeda operatives entered the United States legally. They enrolled in flight schools, rented apartments, and moved between states including Florida, New Jersey, Arizona, and California. At the time, their presence seemed ordinary. This is the public FBI timeline, showing how the hijackers moved within the United States before the attack. You can pause here to read this verified information. In the months before 9/11, multiple intelligence agencies warned that Al-Qaeda was preparing something major. But no warning contained an exact date, target, city, or method. The threat was real but unclear. On August 6, 2001, the president received a briefing titled, "Bin Laden Determined to Strike in U.S." A public version of this briefing was later released and became widely referenced. This is the publicly released August 6 presidential daily brief. It confirms that Al-Qaeda was actively interested in striking inside the United States. Pause to view the verified document. In the final days before September 11th, the hijackers traveled to Boston, Newark, and Washington. They checked into hotels, purchased plane tickets, and made final preparations. Nothing about their behavior raised alarms. These are the public FBI travel and hotel records from the days before the attack. Pause to examine the verified documents. At 8:19 a.m., America receives its first true sign that something is dangerously wrong. A flight attendant on American Airlines Flight 11 manages to contact the airline's operations center. She reports something unheard of. The crew is not responding, passengers are injured, and the plane may have been hijacked. This is the moment the quiet morning turns into a national emergency. Between 8:20 and 8:25 a.m., air traffic controllers in Boston Center notice Flight 11's transponder suddenly turns off. This never happens without a reason. Controllers attempt to contact the crew multiple times. No answer. At first, they think it may be an equipment failure, but the silence becomes impossible to ignore. This is the first moment the FAA begins to suspect a hijacking. At 8:40 a.m., controllers notice unusual behavior from another plane, United Airlines Flight 175. Its altitude changes suddenly and sharply. At this point, no one imagines two coordinated hijackings, but the timing immediately raises concern. At 8:38 a.m., Boston Center contacts the military's Northeast Air Defense Sector, NEADS. The message is simple and chilling. We have a hijacked aircraft. NEADS scrambles fighter jets from Otis Air National Guard Base. This is the first military mobilization of the morning. By 8:45 a.m., the FAA is tracking not one aircraft in distress, but two. Flight 11 is silent and off course. Flight 175 is showing erratic altitude changes. For the first time, FAA officials begin to consider the possibility that both aircraft are under coordinated attack. At 8:50 a.m., The FAA's command center alerts its National Operations Manager. This is the highest-ranking FAA official on duty that morning. The command center explains there may be a hijacking in progress, and possibly more than one. By 8:55 a.m., authorities still do not know the full scale of what is happening. But they know enough. Multiple aircraft are unresponsive. At least one appears to be hijacked. Another is behaving abnormally. America is only minutes away from the first catastrophic impact. By 9 a.m., emergency calls, news alerts, and FAA notifications begin spreading across the country. Authorities still do not know how many aircraft are in danger, but they understand clearly. America is under an organized attack. The National Military Command Center is alerted. FAA officials are escalating the emergency, and air traffic controllers across the nation are watching their screens with increasing concern. At 9:03 a.m., while emergency responders mobilize and authorities analyze radar data, controllers observe another aircraft behaving abnormally. United Airlines Flight 175 is now confirmed as another hijacked plane. This confirmation marks the moment the FAA fully understands the attack is coordinated, not isolated. From 9:10 to 9:20 a.m., the U.S. activates its emergency protocols. The FAA sets up direct communication lines with the military. The White House Situation Room receives continuous updates, and air traffic control facilities switch to their highest level of alert. This is the moment the entire national aviation system shifts from routine operations to crisis coordination. At 9:24 a.m., controllers receive a disturbing new radio transmission from another flight, American Airlines Flight 77. The transmission contains unusual and alarming phrases. This communication removes any remaining doubt. More than 2 aircraft are involved. At 9:37 a.m., the crisis escalates further when the Pentagon experiences a major emergency event. Emergency responders, military personnel, and federal agencies immediately begin evacuation and coordination. This confirms to the entire nation that the attacks are widespread and targeted. At 9:42 a.m., the FAA makes an unprecedented decision. For the first time in history, the entire United States airspace is closed. All commercial flights are grounded. Controllers work to redirect hundreds of aircraft to the nearest safe airports. This decision prevents further potential danger and becomes one of the most important actions of the day. By 10 a.m., the scale of the attack is clear. Emergency teams across the country are mobilized. Air traffic controllers are managing unprecedented shutdown procedures, and federal agencies begin long-term coordination that will continue throughout the day. This moment marks the transition from confusion to full national response, a turning point in modern history.